Hi and welcome back on this channel. My name is Clément and I'm a content creator usually based in France. I've decided that 2022 would be a full year of travel for me, and following the series I've made about the Indian Ocean, I've posted a series of vlogs that I filmed when I was in Thailand for 2 months earlier this year. Being aware that 2 months in this country is a long time and that most people won't be staying this long, I've decided to make this video to help you organize your trip there. So hi! Depending on where you travel from, I would recommend to stay at least 2 weeks, but if you can, 3 weeks could be like a good average amount of time there. So you can see a lot of different places and you don't have to rush, because this can be exhausting to like go from places to places and stuff. There isn't one good itinerary or one way to explore the country, and this video is obviously for people who don't want to stay at the same place for like the whole trip. I'm going to use my itinerary as like a reference to give you an idea of what is a must-see and what can be skipped. And yeah, so during those 2 months, I arrived in Bangkok. Then I went north of the country to Chiang Mai and Phi. Then from there I flew to Phuket. From Phuket, I took a ferry to Krabi. From there, I went to Phi Phi Islands. I went to Koh Samui, Koh Phangan and Koh Tao. I used different way of transportation there, but mostly ferries and buses. I don't like to fly for a short amount of time that you have to wait more than the actual flight. It's a good way to save some money if you have time. I booked most of my transfer on this website called Want2Go Asia. I'm gonna put a link somewhere. And it's like an equivalent of Skyscanner, but it can give you not only the flights, but also like ferries, buses, and all of the mode of transportation you can use there. You don't have to book like each steps, everything's booked. And finally, accommodation wise, of course you can use hotels, but if you want to go like in the cheaper way, I would recommend staying in hostels. Like most of them are really like modern and new. You can book them through websites like booking.com or Hostelworld, which I use both. And obviously, like I said, there's a lot of hotels too, and the prices are going to be like way cheaper than what you could find in Europe or in the US, for example. Okay, so number one of the itinerary is arriving in Bangkok, which is what I did. When you arrive in the country from like international flights, I think there's only Bangkok and Phuket, and in my opinion I think Phuket is definitely like skippable. I don't know if it's a word, but I would recommend to skip it if you don't have much time. I mean, Phuket Thani is nice and there's some nice beaches to see, but if you're here only for like 2 or 3 weeks, I would definitely skip it. Bangkok is a huge city and I have to stop like comparing every big city in the world to New York, but Bangkok definitely has some like American skyscraper-ish vibes. Yeah, you can find anything there, like restaurants, street food, cinema, bars, markets, mall, everything. So I would recommend staying around 2 or 3 days, I think, because once the jet lag is over, depending on where you're coming from, there's still some typical Thai things to do. I would definitely recommend going at least to the Grand Palace, which has like typical Thai vibes and is a symbol of the culture there. And if you have time, you can also cross the river from there, which is like very cheap. It takes 5 minutes to cross by boat. And you can visit Wat Arun Temple, which is very nice. Then you can also walk around Lumpini Park, which has definitely some Central Park vibes. I know I said I was going to stop comparing, but it's easier that way. Yeah, it's not like Central Park, but you can feel some similarities, I should say. And of course, inside the city, you can use any mode of transportation you can find anywhere. And you can also use their local Uber, which is called Grab. Once you spend a few days in Bangkok, I think going to Chiang Mai, which is in the north, is a good way to go like deeper in the Thai culture. Chiang Mai is still like a mid-sized city town, but like the old town part of it really has some Thai vibes. If possible, I'd recommend going to Chiang Mai during a weekend so you can experience their night market. Because there's like blocks of streets that are close to cars and the market goes all the way. It's like huge. You can of course find a lot of different kind of food there, but also like clothes, bracelet, jewelry, whatever. Some insects to eat, because I think you can eat scorpions or like but you can do it if you want, like with spice and stuff. I didn't try it, but maybe you can. Other than that, Chiang Mai has a lot of like Buddhist temples you can visit. Just like walk around in the center of the old town and you will see a lot of temples. You can just go in, check the temples, go out and do that again and again. One very popular thing to do in Chiang Mai is to visit an elephant sanctuary for like a day. But yeah, make sure that if you go there, there is no riding on the elephants, because even though it's illegal, I think there, I'm sure there's still some companies that will make you do it, and make sure that you go there to like feed them, wash them, or heal them, but no riding, please. Also find other activities and tours that you can do, like for example going from Chiang Mai to Chiang Rai to visit the White Temple, the Blue Temple, and some other stops on the way. But like if you're short on time, I would not recommend doing that, because it's gonna like take the whole day, and it's a lot of driving back and forth. So even though the White Temple is really beautiful to see, yeah, it's not worth it to like spend 50% of your day driving and like the rest just visiting. Overall, I would say that 3 days in Chiang Mai is a good amount of time there. But if you have a little more time, I would recommend going to Pai for 2 days. It's like 3 hours driving there. It's a good way to go like deep in the countryside and feel the north of Thailand vibe. And if you're interested in visiting Pai, I'm gonna link the video I made about the north of Thailand in my bio, or like anywhere here. And yeah, from Chiang Mai you can fly to the next destination, which is gonna be Krabi. When you go to Krabi, you have, I think, 2 options that are the best. You can choose between Ao Nang Beach and Railay Beach. I chose the first one and didn't have time to go to Railay Beach, which I kind of regret because it looks amazing. Yeah, I only stayed in Krabi for 3 days, and I think it's a good amount of time to like see what's around, and you can also use 1 day to chill at the beach, like to calm down a minute. And then on the next day you can rent a scooter, like there's multiple vendors everywhere. Not that expensive, just make sure they rent the helmet too, and that it's in good shape, because sometimes they would give you like a no that if you fall it's gonna break. Once you get the scooter, I would recommend to go to the Emerald Pool, which is like an hour driving from where I was, which is Ao Nang. I don't know about Railay, like I said, I didn't go there. It's a really nice like pool, natural water, very blue. The entrance is very cheap, but make sure you go there early, because it's very like popular for tourists but also for local people. I was there like, I thought it was like the opening there hour, but no, it was already crowded. So yes, make sure you arrive early, as most group tour stops there, and it's a lot of group tours that goes. Not far from the Emerald Pool, there's some hot springs, which I didn't go, so I'm not gonna be able to help you that much. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Krabi. On the next day from Krabi, you can take a ferry to Phi Phi Islands. I think it takes, if I remember correctly, around 2 hours. The main island of Phi Phi Islands is a bit of a mess, but you're gonna want to stay like in the center, as most activities start from there. And since there is no car on the island, I would recommend finding an accommodation that is close from like the main street and not too far from the jetty, because you're gonna have to your luggage and stuff. I stayed there a week, but I would say that 3-4 days is a good amount of time to explore. Phi Phi is very like popular for parties, as there's like lots of bars in the streets and stuff, but it still has a lot of activities to offer. The main activity I would recommend doing is a boat tour on Pili Lagoon, and of course Maya Bay, which is very famous from the movie The Beach, I think. I haven't seen it, but I think it's from there. You're gonna find on the main street lots of vendors that sell tours that you can book with them, but what I would recommend doing is to go on the beach and talk to some boat driver, because you can book the tour with them, so you can decide when you're gonna leave. You're gonna see like different prices, so you can compare and like use the cheapest. I think it's a good idea. And yeah, and you're gonna have the whole long tail boat for yourself, so it's very nice. Since you can decide when you leave, I would recommend booking the earliest, so there's not too much people on the tour, because everyone's doing the same tour. The earliest, the better. I met the boat driver around 7, and it was really worth it. Because yeah, you don't want to arrive in Maya Bay past 10 a.m. because it's going to be overcrowded otherwise. Because I remember when I arrived, there was only like maybe 10 people on the beach. But then when I left, maybe 30 minutes later, there were all the group tours that arrived with like 15, 20 people at the same time. And since you can't swim in the water, there's not much to do. So if everyone's on the beach, then you can do anything, and I hate that. So be there early. And then when you're done with Maya Bay, I think the boat driver is going to probably bring you to some snorkeling areas. Then on the next day you can walk around the island, because there's like some viewpoints you can go to, which are literally named viewpoint 1, 2, and 3. When you go up the stairs and arrive at viewpoint 1, you have to pay a little fee to enter, and then just follow the like the street en fait. Follow the street, the road, the path, and it will bring you to viewpoint number 2 and number 3. And finally, one thing I haven't done because I was not certified yet is to go diving there, because there's a lot of diving center on the island, so I'm sure it looks very nice, deep. But I was not certified yet, so I didn't do it. But if you are, or if you want to do like your, how do you say, your diving baptism, in French we said baptême, so I don't know, I would say yes. If you want to do like your first dive, maybe you can do it there. At this point, your trip is going to be around 2 weeks already, so depending on how long you're going to stay in Thailand, choice will have to be made. I can decide for you, but in my opinion, out of the 3 islands, Koh Tao is the one I prefer. I stayed there for like a week, and especially if you want to go diving or planning on diving course certification, Koh Tao is a really nice and like very known to be a good place to dive. But anyway, all 3 islands have things to offer, so I would say like 3 days per island is enough. Otherwise, I would like skip Koh Samui and split my time between Koh Phangan and Koh Tao. And if you're around during like the full moon, I would recommend booking those islands early, especially Koh Phangan, because like the full moon party happens there. So yes, make sure, because it gets very busy at that time. And if you don't want to skip Koh Samui, I would recommend staying there last, because there is the airport and the only one around. So if you want to do like the Koh Phangan, Koh Tao, and then Koh Samui, from Koh Samui you can fly to any big airport to leave the country and go back home, for example, because that it would avoid doing big transfer or like waiting a long time on your last days. But anyway, if you want to know more about those 3 islands, I made videos for each of them, like vlogs when I was there, so you can get an idea on what to expect if you go there. I'm gonna put them here and in the description box down below. I think this is it for the itinerary, and I hope it helps you like planning your trip in Thailand. And even though the country has a lot more things to offer, I think this is a good start, I guess. I know I love this country, and I'm sure I'm gonna go back there to explore it deeper. I don't know when, but sometimes. So thank you for watching. I hope you liked it, and if you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. You can check my Instagram and my TikTok. You can follow them both. And I will see you in the next video. See ya!